Armored vehicles evolved from experimental machines into reliable instruments of warfare. Their role within military doctrine began to change fundamentally. What had once been conceived a supporting element gradually became a decisive force capable of shaping the outcome of entire campaigns. This transformation did not occur overnight. It was the result of accumulated experience, adaptation, and the growing understanding of how mobility and protection could be combined into a single strategic tool.
This moment marked the birth of armored power. It was not yet refined, nor universally trusted, but it signaled a permanent shift in military thinking. Warfare would no longer be defined solely by the strength of soldiers or the range of artillery. From this point forward, dominance would increasingly belong to those who mastered the balance between technology, strategy, and human control.
Alayhi salam! These early machines rumbled onto the battlefield. They carried more than steel and weapons. They carried a psychological weight. To opposing forces, they appeared almost mythical. Unfamiliar shapes emerging through smoke and mud, impervious to small arms fire. To commanders, they offered a glimpse of a future where mobility, protection, and firepower could be unified into a single instrument of war.
The answer emerged not from a single invention, but from a convergence of industrial capability, mechanical engineering, and strategic desperation. Steam engines had already transformed transportation and manufacturing. The internal combustion engine, lighter and more powerful, offered new possibilities. When combined with armored plating and tracked mobility, a radical idea formed. A machine capable of crossing rough terrain, resisting enemy fire, and delivering decisive force directly into the heart of the battlefield. At the dawn of the 20th century, warfare stood at a crossroads. Industrialization had transformed nations, but the battlefield remained painfully familiar. Infantry advancing on foot, cavalry charging across open ground, and artillery struggling to break entrenched positions. The world was on the brink of unprecedented mechanization, yet warfare itself had not fully adapted to the age of steel and engines. It was within this tension between tradition and innovation that the concept of armored power began to take shape. The early years of modern warfare exposed a brutal truth. Human endurance alone was no longer sufficient against machine guns, barbed wire, and long-range artillery. Battles became static, defined by trenches that stretched endlessly across scarred landscapes. Progress was measured in meters, paid for with thousands of lives. Military thinkers across Europe began to ask a dangerous but necessary question. How could soldiers move forward while protected from the very weapons designed to stop them? Early experiments were crude by modern standards. These early armored vehicles were slow, unreliable, and often mechanically fragile. Yet they represented something revolutionary, the first true attempt to shield soldiers within moving fortresses. Their mere appearance challenged centuries of military tradition, redefining how land warfare could be fought.
The foundations laid during this era would shape every armored doctrine that followed. What began as experimental machines would evolve into the most formidable land weapons ever created. And though their forms would change over time, the principle born in this moment, the fusion of protection, mobility, and firepower, would remain at the core of armored warfare for generations to come. The early development of armored vehicles cannot be separated from the pressures of an era defined by rapid change and escalating conflict. As warfare evolved, it became clear that traditional methods were no longer sufficient. Static battlefields, entrenched positions, and relentless artillery fire created conditions in which mobility and protection became critical necessities rather than tactical advantages. From this environment, the foundations of armored warfare began to take shape. In its earliest form, the concept of an armored vehicle was regarded experimental and uncertain. Many military planners questioned its practicality, doubting whether such machines could function reliably under battlefield conditions. Mechanical limitations, unstable engines, and underdeveloped manufacturing capabilities posed significant obstacles. Yet necessity pushed innovation forward. Each failed attempt revealed new lessons, gradually shaping a clearer understanding of what mechanized warfare could become. Early prototypes were often crude and improvised.
Built in industrial workshops rather than specialized facilities, these machines bore little resemblance to the refined vehicles that would follow. Their designs were heavy, slow, and mechanically fragile. However, beneath their rough exteriors lay a transformative idea: a mobile platform capable of crossing hostile terrain while shielding its crew from direct enemy fire.
Alayhi salam, conflicts intensified, the urgency for improvement accelerated. Engineers refined armor composition, strengthened propulsion systems, and began to understand the importance of mobility, a strategic advantage. What initially served as a supporting tool began to evolve into a decisive element on the battlefield. The armored vehicle was no longer merely an auxiliary asset, it was becoming a central instrument of modern warfare.
This period marked a profound shift in military thinking. Warfare was no longer confined to static lines and fixed positions. Mobility, coordination, and mechanical reliability became defining factors of success. Armored vehicles symbolized this transformation, bridging the gap between traditional warfare and the emerging age of mechanized combat.
Through continuous experimentation and adaptation, the foundation was laid for the next generation of armored machines. Each advancement built upon the lessons of its predecessors, forming the groundwork for the powerful and sophisticated tanks that would later dominate the modern battlefield. The evolution of these early designs represents not just technological progress, but a fundamental shift in how humanity approached conflict itself.